I had a birthday party. All right, I'll call this meeting to order at 6:30.
6:30 on the dot.
Boom. Quit now or we're ahead. All right. Make a motion to approve the agenda.
I second the motion.
Any discussion?
I'd like to, we should make a motion concerning the North Road project.
We got a motion on that.
Well, you wanna put, you
No,
wanna
I
add,
don't wanna, I just wanna make sure that that's in the agenda.
it is not, what do you wanna? I mean, we had an hour and a half on the North Road project today, what more do you wanna
So I
discuss?
think we just need to take an action that we all agree to do it.
We've already agreed to do it. All right, we'll put it on the agenda, we will, take that up.
Have you already agreed to do it as a select board?
Yeah, we accepted a bid.
Okay,
Does that work for you, or did you wanna have more discussion about it?
whatever you want.
Okay. No, I mean, if you have something you really need to talk about with it,
No, that's okay. If it's already been accepted, that's okay with me.
okay. Anything else?
The truck, and like, Victoria just mentioned.
Yeah, like, I think, as she said, maybe we'll just tack that on in with the warrants.
And, I attended the assessors and listers meeting, and under other business, I'd like to just talk about that.
Okay. So. So I guess really what we're going to vote on here is accepting the agenda as amended. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, opposed? There we go. All right, public comment. Is anyone here for public comment? All right, can you just speak loudly or move up close, and if you would, just let us know, say who you are.
Okay, my name is Paige Wigger. I'm a South Royalton resident, and a VLS student. And when I moved here, I just loved how much people here loved the river. So in the fall, I hosted a series of community story events around the river, and people just came and talked about their experiences with the river. But one of the things that came out of that was, people had a lot of questions about the local or the recent state floodplain laws. And admittedly, I also don't know much about them. And so I reached out to Ned Swanberg, who works for the Department of
Yes.
Conservation. And so he is going to be coming to the Royalton Memorial Library on April 22nd at 5 p.m. just to explain what the law says, what it does. He's not familiar necessarily with South Royalton, so it'll be more.
He is a little
He
bit.
is a little bit, but
Yeah, 'cause
his talk will be focused on the state.
Okay.
So have flyers if anyone would like one. They're on the library's website and posted around town, but my contact information is on there. If you have questions that you would like him to be prepared to answer, I can pass those along before the event. That's my public comment.
All right, can we get that on the town calendar?
Can I have a copy of
Yeah.
that? Thank you.
That would be great. And then, so we'll put it on the town website, so it's right on the calendar. Which I think.
Yeah.
I think that's great. Thank you, Paige, because I think that will
Good
be,
help.
that'll be a big help. Hopefully the first of maybe a series of those talks
Yeah.
for people to understand what's coming and what it is, since we will be subject to that. Cool.
February 22nd, library, 5 o'clock.
April 22nd. Yep.
Oh, April, I'm sorry, I wrote down April.
Do you want-
Tuesday. Sure,
That 2 weeks,
It's a meeting night for us.
2 weeks from today.
it's a meeting night.
It's on,
Okay.
Earth Day.
So, that's, wait, what's today?
The eighth,
Yeah, so 2 weeks from today.
2 weeks from today is the select board meeting.
So you can go for the first hour, Larry, but then you have other business. All
No
right,
birthdays.
no birthday parties. You gotta leave the meeting early.
All
All
right, yeah,
right,
gotta play the game.
so pack your dinner if you're going to that. Anyone else here for public comment?
John Detweiler. Just wanted to give any more consideration about the town green, the garbage, the cans and stuff like that.
Not specifically.
How often, you have somebody who empties them? I was wondering how often that happens.
We do have somebody who empties them, but I'm not sure how often
Oh.
So
that is.
the trash is picked up by a contractor weekly, but not over the winter while the green is covered in snow.
Okay.
We did have Cameron go pick up the trash, so the green should be in much better shape.
Yes.
And
I
then,
didn't see there's another can out there, there's another
But-
receptacle out there now?
but also come July, in the town's general fund budget is monies for a full-time buildings and grounds person, which also should help alleviate some of those issues.
Great. You hear? Yeah, it looks much better.
Good. In time for Earth Day.
Well,
Yeah, just a quick reminder that Thursday is the workshop on thermal energy network at the high school, 5:30.
30. Also a meeting day for me, because that's revolving loan fund, but. Right. Anyone else? Public comment? Okay. Item next, 24 audit draft, review and approval. No, we all got a copy. Did we have it?
And we do have Tyler here virtually.
Oh,
Yes, can you guys hear me?
Hi, Tyler.
Yes.
Hopefully you can hear me. Yeah, I'm Tyler Kimberlin. I'm one of the auditors who was on the audit, and I'm just tuning in tonight. I was thinking, I don't know, maybe just give you guys a high level review, or do you guys just want to dive into questions? It really doesn't matter to me, what you guys would like.
Let's do the high level review, Tyler. That would be helpful.
Okay, great. Yeah, so I'm just gonna go over the two draft documents that you guys have. If I'm looking at the right one, they're dated April 3rd, 25.
And we give you a
Oh, yeah,
Please,
okay.
Patrick.
That's okay.
I can
Okay.
fix.
Okay.
That's right. I can only pull out mine. Can you put them up? Yeah, she's gonna pull it up, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just kind of go over some key things. There were, in terms of like the audit and the timing of the audit, it ended up getting completed a little later this year than it did in the prior year. The initial thought going into this audit was that the town would need a single audit relating to the federal funding that the town is going to get and has already gotten relating to FEMA and whatnot. But we determined subsequent to the start of the audit that the single audit was not going to be needed. So you'll see reference to an initial engagement letter. There's now another engagement letter that does not include the single audit. So some of the dates in these drafts relating to the engagement letter is going to change just because there was an initial one. Now there's a new one. All in all, want to compliment Victoria. I think the audit went smooth. Very responsive with our requests. We didn't have a ton of proposed audit adjustments. We had about 10, which for governments is pretty standard. There are a lot of GASB related reconciliations that are done between the government-wide statements that you see and the fund statements that you see, and there are some account groups that are maintained just for the government-wide statements. So that's really more or less what the audit adjustments related to, just kind of keeping those account groups up to date. So nothing that you guys should be worried about or anything like that. We also did get a few adjustments subsequent to the initial trial balance that we got. Victoria gave us those. And all of those are summarized in a listing that we provided. So if you guys have looked through that listing and have any questions on those adjustments, just let us know. But like I said, nothing to be concerned on with those adjustments, at least from what we can see. We did have a recommendation that you'll see on page 3 of this governance letter that I'm looking at, and that relates to the governmental funds and the fund balances and the policy, and just a recommendation there to have the town consider developing a minimum fund balance policy that would kind of define what committed fund balance is. It is already defined in the notes to the statements, but our recommendation is to just kind of write that out into an actual policy, and maybe elaborate on certain scenarios more or less, depending on what the town sees as being significant, just to help in the future if there's ever a question as to what something should be classified as or something like that. So that was really the only thing we had from the audit in terms of a recommendation. And the good news with the internal control structure that we did look at, we did do some tests on controls and whatnot. We didn't see any kind of deficiencies or anything like that that we would need to report. So good news all in all. And the format of the financial statements, if you're comparing them to last year, you'll see that there were several more funds that ended up coming out as what we would call major funds. So the fund statements are going to show several more funds than they did in the prior year, simply because those funds, from a quantitative standpoint, were considered significant. So they get broken out separately. So if anything, there's more information on the face of the statements, which is, I'm assuming, not a bad thing for you guys. And obviously there are some other governmental funds that we do have schedules for, but the schedules aren't part of the report. But if you ever wanted to see those schedules, we could certainly provide copies of those. So I think that's really kind of high level what I had. Yeah, so all in all, just want to just say to Victoria, she did a great job helping us out with the audit. And yeah, if anybody has questions, feel free to fire away here.
I'd like to thank you for going over the audit with me, last year's audit. And Victoria was so good to find where the highway fund established and where the selectmen could put. Have you read it? Have you seen it?
Are you? I'm trying to remember your name. We did speak. Yes.
Sorry.
Yes. Yeah. Victoria provided the initial article where the voters approved it to set it up, and yeah, it was pretty clear in there.
Yeah.
It gives the select board discretion. So the minute I saw that, I thought, oh, there we go. There's that question answered for sure.
Right. I haven't read the draft audit yet.
So no other specific questions for Tyler?
No question.
Okay. Comfortable with approving the audit? Want to make a motion for that?
Sure. I'll make a motion to approve the audit as presented.
Second.
Thank you, Stuart. Any further discussion?
I haven't read it yet, so I'm gonna abstain.
Okay. All those in favor of approving the audit as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. One abstention. Transfer station.
Thanks, Tyler.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Guys, have
Tyler.
a good evening.
Yep.
Thank you.
Was John gonna be here or,
The plan was for John to be here.
okay, well, we can,
Can't be,
yeah, we can go over this, we'll skip that one for now and come back.
we've got Carmen on Zoom.
If,
And I will see where John's at.
Yeah. So Carmen, you're up.
Folks, so can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
Wonderful. So I submitted my 2 quarterlies to all of you. Normally Victoria would present them, and I'm fine doing it. One is our dog audit that comes in April 1st of every year, and we submit the fees and the rabies vaccines to the state. That's how the state tracks. So our job is pretty simple. Well, your job, all you need to do is accept the report. I certainly can answer any questions you have on it. I broke them down into dogs that actually have vaccines that have run out, and those would be considered most dangerous. Those reports have already gone out to the constables and to our police force, and I'm sure when they have time, they follow up with them. And then the other one is just kind of a quarterly time frame of how many dogs still have yet to be licensed. And you can choose to just accept that. If you have questions, if you want to put them on warrant, you can do that. And that's
Are these the same list that you posted up front?
yes, they are.
How much of that is, how much of our dog population do those lists show? I mean, you're just listing the violation?
Just reporting.
Reporting.
I'm just reporting that there are probably at this point we did a few more today, and the numbers continue to decline, and that's a good thing. But we probably have 50 dogs that are on record that have rabies certificates that have run out. That in itself isn't a terrible thing, because rabies vaccines will last oftentimes months beyond their expiration date. But this time of year, it's a little bit of a concern, and those dogs could be the most dangerous. And then the others are simply dogs that aren't licensed yet, and that is even less of a concern, because oftentimes their rabies vaccines are still good and they're on record as being good, and that breakdown is on the sheet for you.
Actually,
But the bigger concern, oh sure.
My question is, how many dogs do we have that are legal?
Legal right now, we've licensed about 185 dogs as of this afternoon. And there were probably about 175 to 195 dogs that aren't in our program that exist around town that we've sent letters to, the unlicensed population. They're hard to track.
I was gonna say, how do you track those?
We get reports in monthly, maybe a dozen or so a month, of individuals whose dogs are not licensed, or the neighbors don't believe they're licensed. And what we do is we send notices to the dog owners, and we follow up with a little card. You'll see it in the mail. Some of you will. You've seen them for years. It's a little yellow card. And we make our posts. I think the follow-up is difficult though, because it takes a lot of physical hours to follow up on reports like that.
Yeah. Well,
But I do post. Yeah. And we try to get people in. I try to encourage. We try to keep a soft hand, and I don't want anyone to be discouraged because their dog isn't licensed. There are programs out there. We offer a rabies clinic. You all know the rabies clinic. We've been doing it for decades, and that's a great cheap way to get your rabies vaccine. And I do something similar with the law school. It's called Dogapalooza, where we go down the one day a year that the law school lets on campus, we try to encourage students to come in and get their tags.
You know, maybe once,
But I stopped short on the warrant thing. So that's where the warrant comes in. If you guys ever wanted to place a warrant out on the delinquencies, you could do that.
hmm,
And and nobody wants to do that. But that's what the report is for. That's
this might
your
be-
option.
This might be something once Todd is on his feet again. He could spend a little extra time, especially the expired rabies vaccines. Could follow up on those. Cause I think that would be more,
Yeah,
that would be
that
more
would
important.
Yeah,
to get taken
right,
care of.
that would be something of real value, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, so, I move that we accept Carmen's, license and rabies report. As submitted.
I'll second that motion.
Any further discussion? Hmm? All right, all those in favor of accepting report, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes. Thank you, Carmen.
Sure thing. And the second one is the liquor and licensing a quarterly report, and that I sent to you all. And those establishments are all establishments that have been here more than a year, so they're all coming under the meeting that you had about a year ago, and you said you might want to revisit it to see if you all thought the system was working. I know some of you are a little new and may not know what the system is, but the select board licenses, in a nutshell, the select board licenses the establishments, and then it goes through kind of a clunky process that often includes Victoria too, and she gets calls, and it includes the DLL. The website is hosted through the clerk, like the dog site. We do all the front end bookkeeping on that and distribution of licensing, and then it goes to the select board. And you had opted in your minutes about a year ago to allow me to license any pre-existing businesses as long as there was no changes and no difficulties. And so those licenses have all been around more than a year, and they're all good, and there have been no new establishments requesting liquor licenses or any major changes. So that's why you've received none to sign off on.
Okay,
And you don't have to do anything with those other than, I mean, if you have questions, I'm happy to answer them.
I don't think I have any. You, no? Do we need to officially accept that report? No,
I don't believe so. No,
Right.
just for questions, yeah. And so you're all good with the system?
it's
Working.
working, seems to be
All
working.
right, okay,
Especially if you don't get new businesses, then, and if we had issues, I think we'd know about it.
I certainly would, and anybody who requests a private license, anything that's has to do with a town, green, anything like that, we'd make sure it comes before you.
Yeah, we all need to approve those, right?
Right, because you would be the acting, you would be the authority there. And also if there were any, if anyone was pinched, if anyone was caught in a sting, any employee of any of the establishments, I send everything like that immediately to Loretta.
Okay.
So
Great.
that's it.
That's it? Is that all you have?
All good.
All right. Well, that was very smooth. Thank you, Carmen. Warrants.
I reviewed them. I have no questions. It looks good.
Anybody else have questions about the warrants? No? Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to accept the warrants.
I'll move that we accept the warrants.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of accepting the warrants, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Warrants accepted. All right, the truck.
Stuart asked me to get a new. A quote that was understanding, and I did. Do you have a copy of it?
Yeah, it's in the.
Yeah.
It's in the, under your agenda. It's
Oh.
it's clipped in there.
And I think it says what you asked for, Stuart.
Yeah, it's up to date, it's updated.
So I would like to move that we pay for the truck. Which is $190,039.
So the Viking plow and equipment that's the body.
Yeah.
So that's the one
And that will-
28.5, which is still be due.
Until August. What I've been told.
So the truck stays at Lucky's for that period. Till August.
Yeah, he's responsible for putting the body on this. Or no, he isn't, but to get it there and make it happen. So,
Yeah. But I'm sorry, was that a motion, Bob?
yeah, I'll move that we pay for the truck.
So now that we paid for it, I assume it's still under his insurance, or do we have to insure it?
We'll need to add it to the town's insurance policy.
I will second that so we can continue the conversation. Questions?
No.
Stuart? My only point would be, I don't have an issue with this. But I did get a look at the original quote for this truck. And it said specifically on there that delivery of the body would be in the fall of
Yeah.
2025.
Right.
So I just want to be clear, I don't have a problem with doing this.
Yeah.
But Lucky's hasn't been held up at all. All right, this is the way it is now
Oh, I see what you're saying.
is what he agreed to in the beginning.
Yeah.
So not getting paid at all until the body was on, the truck was complete is what he did and what we agreed to. Again, I don't have an issue with doing it this way, but I want it to be clear that Lucky has not been inconvenienced according to our agreement.
I've talked to him about that.
Okay,
I think what happened there, my just knowing a little bit about Lucky's, because my son works there, that they had trouble getting trucks for quite a long time. And it took as much as a year to get them.
mhm,
And so when he ordered it, he probably figured that 2025 would probably come in along about August or July, and then
well,
the climate changed and they came right through. I mean, it's not Lucky's fault, but it's not our fault either.
Right, that is what we expected, and we knew that it was gonna be a longer lead time, and it was surprising to see the truck arrive early, but.
Yeah.
Still. It is what it is, so.
Yeah,
all right. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor of the motion to pay Lucky's the $190,289 for the truck itself. And the balance, once the body is there and assembled, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Approval of the minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes as published.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? No, all those in favor of approving the minutes as published, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All done.
Victoria, can I ask, do you use AI to do the minutes?
No, I write the minutes.
You do?
We don't cheat like that.
Yeah. I just wondered.
Doing minutes longer than.
I think
the
having AI do the minutes off the recording might be dangerous.
I think so too. I just.
I have had AI do subtitles on some of the videos.
Yeah.
I've gone back and fixed them up, but that's the.
Have you ever
limit
had
of
any
the-
problems with it?
Oh, yeah,
Oh, yeah,
it's not clean.
Right.
it is still artificial intelligence. Appointments. Emergency Management Director.
We've got Brad on Zoom if you wanna ask him if he'd still like to be your emergency management director.
Brad on Zoom. Are you willing and able to continue as the Emergency Management Director?
Hi, yes, if you want me.
Sounds pretty good to me.
I don't even know other options.
Yeah,
In other words,
sounds a lot better than me doing it.
we need a motion then to,
We do need a motion.
to elect Brad as the new emergency management director.
Is that a motion?
Yes, sir.
All right.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? At your own peril? All those in favor of appointing Brad to continue on as emergency management director, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that passes.
Okay.
Trustee-
Thank you. Just a couple things.
Yeah, sure.
If you don't appoint one, just so you know, Patrick, you're it by statute. Uh, but while you're making emergency management appointments, can I request that you appoint Loretta as the REMC second? And I can give you a little background on that.
Please do.
So the REMC, the Regional Emergency Management Commission, is kind of the newest version of what we used to call the LEPC. And the region is 30 towns that Two Rivers incorporates or plans for, I guess. And what they have now, the commission is 2 members from every town, every one of the 30 towns. One of them has to be the EMD, so that'd be me. And the other one has to be a first responder. So that has been Loretta. I checked with her and she's willing to continue doing it, but it has to be appointed.
Well.
Thank you both.
That sounds like a slam dunk. Well, we need to. I move that we appoint Loretta or reappoint Loretta, as the case may be, to the REMC.
I'll second that motion.
Did we vote on the first one?
On Brad,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Any discussion? All those in favor of Loretta being appointed to the REMC, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Thanks, Brad.
Trustee of Public Funds. Do we have,
So the select board initially received interest from 2 parties to be a trustee of public funds, and one has since withdrawn. Jerry Barcelo is willing to be appointed as a trustee of public funds if the board would like to have him.
so David withdrew from
Correct.
consideration?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that certainly makes the discussion shorter.
I'm the chair of the board of the trustees of public funds. We think Jerry would be an excellent person to have on the board.
No, I don't doubt it, but we don't have to debate the merits now. It's,
Well, I'll make a motion that we appoint Jerry as the trustee of public funds.
I'll second.
any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Congratulations, Jerry. Okay, easement for Broadbrook Road. Victoria and I were on a Zoom call with this engineer and a couple different lawyers and.
Yes, the town's engineer, the geotech, and the town's lawyer.
Yeah, yeah, and so there continues to be a little bit of a dance around getting this easement done. The property owner is quite elderly and she's in is it a memory care unit or? Anyway, she's in a managed health unit and
What property are we talking about?
So on Broadbrook Road, after you get past Prairie Road and you're heading out towards Barnard, there's a big landslide.
There's a what?
There's a
big
landslide
Oh, okay.
that happened in July of 23. So there's a temporary 1-lane traffic. We've been working on getting the downslope easement so
Is it
that,
on the left-hand side or the right-hand side of the road?
left-hand side if you're headed towards Barnard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's that bank there.
Mhm.
Yeah, and there's been a slide there, and so what we need, what we've been working on, and we had the engineers in talking about a fix. But to effectuate that fix, we need an easement on a small piece of the land right on the river there.
Who owns the property?
I think that
Dorothy,
if we're going to discuss the specifics
We need
of the
to-
easement, you should do it in executive
Yeah.
session.
okay,
The matter at hand is that due to the nature of the property owners, it is difficult, if not impossible, for us to obtain a complete easement at this time. The town's lawyers have suggested that they would like to
they have suggested a workaround.
work with the property owners and the state to obtain a document that would allow the town construction access with the permanent easement to be granted at a later date. And so I think right now the effort is to make that attempt and see if construction access will be allowable by both the state of Vermont and FEMA.
You can't say who owns the property?
It's just not appropriate for a public session.
Yeah, we have an executive session later, we can certainly go into more details if you'd like. Yeah,
I think it's okay, but it's all right.
well, I just think the fact is there's more to it, and if we get.
Oh, all right.
If we get into that, then that shouldn't necessarily be, yeah. So. So the long and short of it is, the town attorney has a workaround, so to speak, that he's trying to put into place.
Is that gonna cause a delay?
Potentially,
Yeah.
yes.
Potentially. Especially if it doesn't work.
Can't get it.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
the attempt to get the permit, well, even that would.
even that could delay, but it wouldn't necessarily be a big delay.
Right, it's a difference of, we'll either be allowed the workaround or the town will have to wait for the process to work through the court system.
Mhm.
So that's why the determination was to try this avenue first and see if it's acceptable. Otherwise, you could be tied up for 6 to 12 months in court trying to
And
get the rights.
to be acceptable, it has to go before a judge, or does it have to just?
State of Vermont first, for right of way access. And see what they say, because part of the stream alteration permit generally requires right of way access.
No, taking it eminent domain. No,
It's an option, but again, then you would have to, it would
We'd
have to go to
through
court.
that whole process.
And you would have to
yeah.
go through
One
that
way or
whole
another,
court
yeah,
process,
okay.
yeah.
So I mean, really, the short answer is we're hoping we can get the access with the permanent easement later, or else we're stuck for a while,
That-
one way or
that-
another.
that would make a great option if it's available to us.
So there's nothing to do.
There's nothing to do, just wanted to let you know that, if you or anybody else has questions, we're still.
Waiting on right
Yeah,
away.
yeah, we're still waiting on the right of way and trying to churn through it, so. Don't know John, so we'll move
So-
on.
John is not gonna make it.
He's not gonna make it.
Available.
Okay.
I don't have the job description update, but I do have the rough estimate for the lighting replacement, if you'd like to address that, or.
Yeah,
just
no,
wait
let's,
till next
whatever
time.
we can address now, let's address now.
So, the lighting at the transfer station, I guess, is like old style incandescent street lamps. John would like to swap those to LEDs.
Mhm.
It's a cost of roughly $6,500 to update all of the lighting at the facility.
Any money in the budget to cover any expenses like that?
There is money in the transfer station budget for capital projects and updates. I did email the board earlier today, the P and Ls. The transfer station is currently operating at a good clip.
It's in the black.
It's within the budget of the transfer station to do that project, I think, yes.
Efficiency Vermont will put the money into that, I'm sure.
I believe that price is the Efficiency Vermont assistance price. Generally, the contractor will apply for those credits and it's just their labor cost of completing the job.
So. You sent that earlier today,
The budget actuals, yes, this afternoon.
this afternoon. Yeah. Okay, I was gonna say that.
In fact,
Is a safe number, not to exceed 6,500?
I would call it 7 if you want to do a not to exceed, just in case I'm wrong about the number, because I didn't get the actual quote.
Oh, that was in the budget actuals that you sent?
Well, so currently your transfer station is netting out at 31,000.
Yeah, I see that now.
It is still carrying a deficit, so you want to keep it netting out positive as much as possible.
Okay.
Efficiency Vermont kicked in a lot of money in the whole fairgrounds of Summer Fair was put LEDs. I think I'd like to know what they're willing to do for this one.
You'd like to see that breakout?
Yeah,
Okay. Well, then we won't. I don't think that's unreasonable. We won't add on this tonight and,
Oh, that's helpful, so that we can bring it back to you next time.
yeah. Yeah, with a little more detailed breakout.
Yep.
And he's gonna have to come back to talk to us about the
Job description.
job description anyway, so.
Gotcha.
You said that the transfer station has the capital fund? Or
The transfer station has a line item budget,
just a single?
for doing facility maintenance.
Okay. Yeah, so that would probably be helpful to know too, just what,
they're really good. It doesn't take, they'll get right at it.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, on that note, it is nice that the transfer station is operating in the black.
Knock a little wood, would you?
Not for Micah. I guess this is really. Yeah, I know you did that earlier, so. But, We like that. Other business. You said you sat in on the listers meeting,
Yeah, I did.
what do you got?
It was pretty interesting and, I wish Walter or Jeff were here. They had, listers and assessors from all over Windsor County.
Uh-huh,
And the guy who's the head of the tax department for the state of Vermont was there. And I learned a lot that I didn't know. I think it was good to go. One thing there's a big discussion about is that listers have to be certified now. Do you know that?
is that a new requirement? No, I was not aware of that.
Yeah, and we have two of the most experienced listers in actually probably the state.
In terms of
But they can't get,
certification.
yeah, they can't get certified because of bureaucracy. Ridiculous.
No,
Usually,
how does
when the
that,
legislature passes a law like that, they grandfather people in
Mhm.
that have been doing it for so many years, but.
so what's that process look like?
Well, that, I'm not quite sure,
Okay,
but I would say that there's a place in Montpelier that. These guys call and try to get certified and they basically refuse. Without them taking a test or a course, of which they've already taken, but. Yeah, so the big discussion was among the. That's why towns are hiring assessors now, not listers. And,
well, I mean, that's also a function of not being able to get people to.
Yeah, and
run
they're
or accept
elected.
it.
See,
Yeah, so you have to be
they're
people who are
elected
willing
and-
to run, and so.
and I think that, you know, what they're saying, or what all of the ones that were there are saying, is that, look. We're elected. You wanna make the governor take courses so he can be governor?
Yeah,
And that was an argument, you know, so,
which I'm sure fell on deaf ears.
no, they were pretty good.
Yeah.
The people that were there actually were listening.
No, I meant if that question were thrown out,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, in general,
Yeah.
so, but I mean, so to get certified, what's. You know.
I don't know, they didn't give.
They didn't go into that,
No, they didn't.
because they
give
probably
me-
all know
but the
it,
list-
so,
But Walter and Jeff know, and
yeah,
I think it's a matter of taking courses of which they've already taken.
yeah,
But they don't have their work behind them. They don't have the paper that says they.
they took the course,
So I would think, you know. A good lesson would be that anybody in town that takes a course. Or certification or. Qualification of something, turns a copy of that in. To the office.
for their file,
Yeah.
yeah,
And I made my teachers do that every single time they took the course. So I had a file in my office that showed that they had done it.
that is, it's not a bad practice.
But people. They don't think about that.
No. Well, and, I mean, the day will come when. And, Jeff and Walter are not there,
Right.
and we may be another one of those towns that goes to an assessor because. Finding people to run, I mean, we can't fill the 3 positions now.
Right.
So if we didn't have 2 guys at that level. We'd already be struggling.
We're pretty fortunate to have
Yeah.
those two and. And that meeting was pretty obvious.
Yeah.
How important they are to the town of Littleton.
Yeah, well, and I think that's going on all over, you know, when I was working at Current Use, it would not be infrequent that Lister, who had been there forever, didn't want to do it anymore, so they didn't run. And then the town was without
Yeah.
a Lister. I mean, it was just vacant.
One of the things the state's trying to do is put, categories. Like, put houses in categories. And tax them.
Like within residential, have a
Yeah,
further
how-
breakdown.
whatever classification they're gonna use. And all the people there were dead against it.
Hmm.
So it's good, if you get a chance to talk to Walter and Jeff, just talk to him. I'm sure they can explain it a lot better than I can.
Yeah, if Walter's involved, I'll have to buy him a beer, so that's.
Just don't tell him I'm doing a good job, because it's big. Well,
I hesitate to ever tell him he's doing a good job, even though he is, so. Do we have anything else in other business?
Well, I just had a piece of paper here on my third one down.
Yep.
That I had spoken to. Loretta, that when I was on the board before, that occasionally every month or something, that she just gave us a kind of breakdown for the quarter or something of what the police department had done, just to see that, you know, our folks are out there and doing their job.
Yep.
And if then we have townspeople that come to us and say, hey, we never see the police department, we don't ever see them, they never do anything. And then we can say, hey, we've got this and that and the other thing that they've done, and just kind of supporting our police department. And and she's done this for us for this meeting, and I thank you.
sure. I'm sorry, I forgot to put, like traffic tickets and.
Well, it's okay. I mean, this shows us a lot of things that were done, and
The agency assist, is that other departments?
It could be things like going with DCF to a home visit or, yeah,
Okay,
or helping the state police or the sheriff's department. So it could be any state agency, not necessarily just police departments. I do wanna say that we were, at the rally on, Saturday.
Yes,
It went really well. Patrick was there. Really well. No problems whatsoever. So I walked through and talked to quite a few people and it was, I had a really good time, I think.
yeah, and absolutely no troubles,
Not a one.
which is always good, probably because you guys were there for that, that's why.
I don't know, we'll see.
So the 233 incidents, that's just like call outs.
That's incident, we've been called to do something.
Yep.
That doesn't include any traffic we've done or anything like that.
so what's the 99 at the top?
I don't know, I'm not sure what that number is.
Okay,
I think that might be like the code for the particular, report I'm asking for, maybe. I had dispatch run the report for me, so.
good,
I
thank you.
don't think your column is adding up to 233, so.
But maybe those 99 with the traffic stops.
I don't know, I'm not sure what case number we're on, but. Yeah, I can check that for you. And it certainly, maybe it is, I know we're over 100 cases at least. Actually, no, we are over 200 because I just, was working on a case today, so.
Is it possible that the 99 are incidents that don't fit into one of these categories?
It could be, yes.
Although there's a lot of categories. What's the National Take Back Initiative?
I'm assuming that's the drug take back.
Okay.
So we do the federal drug take back twice a year. Once actually in April, it's coming up, so if anybody has any drugs that they want to turn in, now's the good time to do it. And then we do again in
Why are you looking at me?
I'm looking at Larry or, you know. I'm side-eyeing you though, I know.
But you also have, there's also the Dropbox though.
We do have the drop box and it's open whenever we're here.
Yeah.
So the box is open, you know, whenever there's an officer on duty, so.
Oh, cool.
But sir, if you want the exact number, I can get that.
I was just curious, because it didn't seem to, seemed like a loose end.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
But it is a good number to have, though, like Larry said, if somebody says, well, what are they doing for us? Well, here's what they're
Let
doing,
me get your list, just a
Yeah.
minute.
yeah. I'll tell you the 233 things they're doing for us.
Yeah, I just thought it was a good idea.
Also, overweight permits. Did you look at those, Larry?
Not yet,
Okay.
no, but
But you will,
I will.
all right. I move that we, authorize Larry to sign off on these overweight permits after he has made his determination on them.
Second that?
Any discussion? All those in favor of giving Larry that authority, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. There was also an email, Nell responded to it. About the Bloss Blue Road. And, the Bensons, whose property is out, further along that road. Had an issue where they were trying to get, assistance out there from the PD. And the officer wasn't sure where it was, and then when it got close, couldn't find it, and then it does run. It's a class 4 road,
I think he couldn't get out there.
he couldn't get out
He
there,
couldn't get out there.
no, because it's not maintained,
Right,
yeah,
so. He
okay,
was afraid of getting stuck.
yeah, all right, so, but the email made it also sound like. There was initial confusion about where it was headed, because it was like, you sure this isn't somebody's driveway?
Right, right.
Kind of thing, so I don't know that we have to, get to the bottom of this right now, but I think we need to have a discussion about whether, we want to sign all of our class 4 roads.
Well, I think the message. What I took away from that message was, we need to get the signs put up that we have.
That we have them for those class 4 roads.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, not just the class 4s, but
All of them,
we have signs at the town garage that have been sitting there.
right,
To be put up.
right. Well, and it's, yeah, and I think I heard from Demi that at this point now we have to wait for the frost to come out of the ground again. So he can sink the anchors.
That's fine.
I think it's already out.
It's gone.
But it needs to be on the to-do list. Is to get those signs
Are
out.
all of our roads, they have that 911 signs up?
Not all of them, no. A lot of them do. but-
You mean the road signs themselves or
Yeah, 911,
Just for houses.
the numbers for each house, you mean?
yeah.
No,
You have several roads that do not have street signs, and you have a number of residences that do not have 911 numbers. The town does have a budget to purchase house numbers for residents. But it requires the residents to notify the town that they need that sign. I believe the Public Safety Committee was planning to try to make an effort to get more houses numbered.
On Ratner Lanes where I live. I put up 6 911 signs on where you enter the
on
driveway,
the, yeah,
where you enter the road. And I think, I don't know, if you're looking for one, you can't find one. Unless they're up.
Right, yeah, and we have sometimes we have a lot of problems because. Either the house isn't marked at all, and we have to like go to the next one or something, but I love that. Cause when people put them on end, or at least where we can see them from the road, it helps a lot.
Well, you should have them on the road and on the house, so you need 2 numbers in that case, because
right,
you can't see it if it's on the house.
right, it's great that you know it's up there, but then once you turn up
But
there,
once you
which one
get
is
there,
it?
you gotta know which one it is, and.
In my neighborhood, I got the signs for every one of them, plus the signs that go up by the road.
So there are 2 on,
Oh, yeah,
There's two.
there's
that's great,
in the post, it shows the number of all the houses out the road, and then each person that has a house also has a 911 number on their door or someplace on their building, so it's
Yeah.
really noticeable. And that was one of the things I talked about at the meeting, how difficult it is for a lot of emergency services to find the house that
Yeah.
they're looking for, because those numbers aren't up.
Yeah, that was discussed at the, public safety meeting, and it will be brought up on Saturday, 19th. There's a meeting, at the Academy Building for Public Safety Committee for the townspeople, and, that was one of the agenda items.
It's good. Yeah, because that's a really practical kind of low hanging fruit item for that
Especially if
committee,
we've got the sign,
especially if we've got the signs. Yes.
but identifying who needs one is also. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Do it.
Anything else under other business?
2 o'clock. In the afternoon.
No. All right. At this point, I will move that we go into executive session. Personnel matters. Thank you, chief. We were going to.
No, I'm-
Victoria.
I'm just high, that's all.
Oh, okay.
That's all.
Thank you.
Good night, all.
Night. Still need a second.
I second the motion.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All righty.
You want a motion to come out of executive session?
I
Make a
will
motion.
to come out.
Yes.
I'll second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Now accept a motion regarding the personnel matter. And fine, I'll make it. I move that we accept with great regret Victoria's resignation effective May 9th. Well, last day would be May 9th. Do I have a second?
A second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of accepting Victoria's resignation, say aye.
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 It is too bad. Nat wasn't here for all of this. Take a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
8:04.
Yeah, 8:04, wow. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.